people that read the books are probably thinking, oh, that guy that tortured him and put that thing in his finger, that's probably Ramsay Bolton. Ramsay
Right.
Snow.
Ramsay Snow.
Ramsay Snow.
The bastard of
The
Bolton.
bastard of Bolton.
But is it? So that's my theory.
Well, according to IMDb, it is.
Yeah, but we all know IMDb is wrong a lot.
I don't know. I think it is, because that would make sense, because that is what happens.
Yeah, and I think my theory, and I was talking to my roommates about this last night, is it's the guy that lets him free. So in the books, everyone knows that a lot of the Bastard of Bolton, and that character is very confusing because he's got a servant Reek, and we don't really know. Like, they switch roles a couple times, and it's...
No, I can explain all.
Oh, but I'm just saying, for home,
I can recap the book. The book thing was that Ramsay was on the field of battle. He didn't want to die, so he covered himself in filth, and then when he was captured said, oh, I'm this Reek character, right, who was someone that he tortured and killed a long time ago.
No.
Reek?
No.
Yeah, there was a Reek. I remember a Reek in the books.
Reek and him were together, and they kill, he switches.
With Reek.
He switches with
that's
him.
it. So they kill Reek.
So he switches with him and says, this is the Bastard of Bolton,
right.
and
so
Reek sacrifices himself for the Bastard. So that's what I'm saying. That character, in his characteristics, switches roles a lot, and he's also kind of King Mindfuck when it comes to Theon.
Yeah.
So I feel like he may be like, your sister sent me, get free, and then we're going to see him capture him and be like, why did you escape? It's like, because you told me to. And it's just going to play with him.
I think that really, because I remember in the book, there were plots within the keep there, the Bolton keep, to escape. Different people wanted to escape because he was torturing all kinds of people, and then he would capture them and kill them or torture them. So I think that actually this might be a real thing.
I just don't know how she would even know that.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna capture him again.
I have no idea how she would even know at this point.
Yeah, that's right. They wouldn't.
Like, he's alone. They killed everyone else, and the only one they took was him, and the only people that know. Like, I feel like there's more to that scene that we're getting.
Care?
And why she doesn't care, because she also.
She was like, this is a bad choice to go to Winterfell in the first place.
She wants Theon's kind of role. Like, she thinks she's equal to him. So
she should be the heir, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it may be, but there's also more to that scene than meets the eye at this point. Yeah. So you want to go back and talk?
But I do love that they're putting it in at this point, because we don't get back to Theon until book 5.
I love that we're going to just see maybe Theon tortured for 4 seasons.
Yes, several seasons.
He deserves
of torture.
it. It's good.
So you see the full transformation. That poor guy.
And they're obviously gonna take book 5 and book 4 and put it together.
Yes.
Like the season after the second season of book 3 is
gonna
going to be 4, 5 together.
I feel like that's going to be 3 seasons.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Sure.
So they'll take book 4, 5,
I'll take them.
make it into one,
Sold.
and then it's 3. I don't think it's enough.
Shut up and take my money.
It's not enough for 2 off of each, because I don't think enough happens in those books, but you could spread them into 3.
So I have a very, very tiny difference from the book. One thing that I noticed that I thought the book added like a little more tension. It was a great scene. There was nothing wrong that they did on the show. But from my recollection, the scene between the Queen of Thorns and Marjorie and Sansa was at a dinner.
Right.
And they and Amanda reminded me that the Queen of Thorns made the fool sing louder so that they could have their little secret conversation. Yeah. But I like that because in the show you can imagine Sansa like going down to hang out with the Queen of Thorns, being like, oh my God, what am I getting myself into? But in the book, it was kind of fun because she's just like, oh, I'm just eating, and that's another ball. I'm kind of bored, and all of a sudden she just gets like the full court press from like both sides.
Well, you also know there's no little birds, right, listening in, and like, how do you do that on TV? They're like, we're gonna have the band play really loud. Okay, you guys play loud. You can't.
You can't.
It's one of those changes that has to happen, and also it makes her more comfortable. Yeah. She can't be like, yeah, he's a monster. If there's just a room full of people she doesn't know, like, there's not even any servants there at that point.
Right. That's why I think that they tried to bring that across when the Queen of Thorns kept sending the servant away to get the food, get the cheese, go get that now.
Well, because he also, it's like, he's well framed in many of those shots.
Right. He's
spying for someone.
Of course he is, because everyone's spying. Right? Like,
there's no one that's not spying for anyone, so that's fair. But like, just even like that first framing of him in the background, which he yells, he's in that frame the whole time, and he keeps looking up at him, and I'm wondering if that, was just good directing, or if that's just like, if he's actually a character. Let's go back to Talisa and Lady Stark. There's a theory out there. So, oh man, let's actually come back to that. Well, but let's
right.
transition into spoilers with that one. How about that?
All right, spoiler dragon.
Any other changes we want to talk about then before we get into crazy spoilers?
Nothing I can think of.
I mean, I think the Arya stuff. There's a lot of changes there, but they all work.
Well,
Arya
yeah.
gets kidnapped in the book like
80
27
times.
times and like ends up in the same spot, so it's fine.
In the book, she first meets up with the Brothers Without Banners, and they travel together a smidgen, and then they say, oh, we're going to help get you back to River Run, I think is where they were going to take her. And then she runs into someone from the Stark household, and he recognizes her, and they have a tearful reunion. But when they recognize that she is a Stark, they're like, oh, well, then you're gonna stay with us. And then later the Hound comes into the story. So this is just a condensed
It's also
version.
easier. Like, why introduce a new character for the Hound to recognize her
I think
anyway?
they didn't they skip a city for
yeah.
Daenerys when she was kind of going around.
Same thing.
Yeah.
It's like
You really take like all of Daenerys' journeys and really like boil down to like what she needs to do to define her character. Like,
and it's also we all know that later in this season, because we know in the books the Hound and Arya meet up and kind of hang out a little bit more. So it's nice to see him come in earlier. It's the end goal.
And I think he's a crowd favorite. I think everyone loves the Hound.
And we haven't seen him.
We love to hate him. We love to love him.
And we haven't seen him in a while. And
have we talked about the oatmeal commercial?
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
Have you seen this?
He's in a super hot oatmeal.
Yeah, so it was very popular in the UK. No, like basically there's two girls, they're in the woods, they see a kilt over a branch, they look out to the loch, a big Scottish man starts coming out of the loch and he's all wet and handsome, and then just as they're about to reveal, it's got his little what do you call it?
Hound?
No, it's another part of your, it's another part of the kilt, but he's covered as he comes out and the girls giggle and he puts his kilt on and then he goes and eats a bowl of oatmeal, as you would after swimming the loch.
UK
but this is like, because he's some
commercial.
big, handsome dude. He's much more handsome without the scars and the greasy hair. And this is need to know information.
I would hope so.
Those Russians, they like 6'6" is their
That's where they
baseline
cut off.
for an attractive male.
Any other book differences we want to get into before we hit into spoilers?
No, I think I'm all right. I mean, there are definitely lots of differences, but
I
don't think we need to.
I don't think we need to
hammer them.
I mean, we've all discussed like TV and books are different. You have to kind of do things a different way. Right. Speaking of which, Lady Stark then. So spoilers. Dragon. Whatever the dragon. Like this is where we get into the spoilers.
Maybe we should have baby dragons for small spoilers and like one giant dragon for
Oh
like
no, I'm gonna big
spoiler
spoiler this one now,
okay.
boys and girls.
All right, let's do it.
There's an infamous scene that'll be happening most likely in episode 9 of this season.
Oh, we're really spoiling
I'm big spoiler.
Oh, we're spoiling it.
So
the
literally, like if you've
play.
read through book 3, if you haven't, now's the time to turn off.
Turn it off.
Don't
watch
Don't
anymore.
do this. Don't do this to yourself.
Save yourself.
We're spending more time warning people than we are actually talking
I don't want to
about
be
If you watch
spoiled.
past this moment and you don't know, you're asking for it, you're going to be sad.
Don't cry to me.
Don't cry and don't make a comment
don't
like,
pull a Sam,
"Man, I kept
Sam and
watching
cry to
after
me."
you warned us." That's your fault. All right, let's talk about it.
Red Wedding. Yeah! So, episode 9 this season will be a very infamous scene. I won't go into all the details, but lots of people die.
Oh my gosh.
And
Putting it mildly.
I think Talisa is a spy.
All right, but I don't see why, because Karstark is there, and we already know he's working with the Freys.
And Bolton's already walked in on
And
him.
Bolton's already working with the Freys. It's like, there doesn't need to be a spy. Spying on what? You know, like there doesn't need to be.
Well,
they said, Catelyn said, "Don't cross the Freys, or you'll be sorry." And then he's like, "I'm engaged to marry one of the Frey daughters. I think I'll marry this random girl that's not even in the books. Sorry, this random girl, or Jane Westerling if it's in the books." And just see how that goes. Oh, the Freys are going to totally be fine with that. No, he was supposed to marry a Walda, and he didn't marry a Walda, and now they are pissed.
Well, I agree, but I think
That's how he bought their passage. That's how he bought their allegiance. There doesn't need to be a spy. They're turning on him.
But who set her up with Rob?
It doesn't. The writers did.
Oh, so they'd have a reason to. So they,
Who set? He at one point, I believe it is.
So
I have
you
to go
think,
back.
So you
if you,
think
if
that
you go
she
back and
was,
listen,
She's not a
Tywin-
spy to get information. She's a spy just
Tywin
to piss
says
off the
he
phrase, just to
sets
give
up-
the phrase.
So then
a
she's a
reason.
plant.
Right.
She's not a spy. She's a plant.
Well, but she's also
she's
spying.
a pawn.
At some point, Tywin says he sets up a honeypot for Robb. He's like, he keeps wanting I've set up a honeypot for him. And
Tywin says this?
Tywin says this. I believe it's Tywin. It might. I'm looking at our camera guy. Is it
Tywin says he has a spy.
and he set up a honeypot to trap Robb.
And the letters that are going back and forth between Robb's camp and Tywin's inner council at Harrenhal, it's undeniable. Like, it has to be her.
He's getting tipped off by someone, and you've seen her in multiple scenes now writing something. And then soon as Robb shows up, she puts it away.
And not only that, she also kind of jokes, jests about it. She's like, yes, I'm a spy and I'm writing. The Hound is on the move, blah, blah, blah. And then at Harrenhal, when Arya gets the note before she has to use one of her kills on the guy that catches her with the note's, like, if you catch a glimpse of it, it says Robb Stark's men are on the move. So it's kind of a crazy, like,
and
I think that this is Bolton. I think it's all Bolton.
And there's also a scene, I believe... There's a couple scenes that just kind of lead you to believe. Oh, the one scene that's weird is she has no knowledge of Winter or of any of our cultures or the culture of Robb. Like, doesn't know about the Seven, didn't understand what Cat was doing, but she knows, like, the wedding ceremony. Like, she nails it. She knows all of that. She's been trained, and also, I think they're gonna, they pull in the like, ooh, lady from the East. She's mysterious. I feel like there's more to her than just being a girl that Robb met. And I think there's multiple people, like, right, it's the Game of Thrones, so there's multiple people trying multiple things. I don't think the Boltons and the Lannisters are playing different games, but the same game, right? They want different. They want to get to the same place, but we don't know where they're at yet.
If I was going to say yes to your theory about her being a spy, I would say that she's a spy for Littlefinger, if no one else. Because she's a different player to me. She's coming from a different angle, and she's coming from across the sea. So if that's where we're going with this, then I would bet that that's where that origin is.
Yeah, and I just feel like I agree. I don't know where the full story is coming because we're at the point where
we don't really know any of this.
We don't know, but I feel like there's more to her than just being a reason for the phrase to get mad at Robb.
Sure.
And maybe
and I agree. There's not really a neat reason for it.
No, because I feel like it's really enough.
I think there is.
Because what's going to happen is so bad that it doesn't really. I mean, if the writers think that we need the love interest to be the betrayer, to feel the betrayal that's about to happen, that is so major, then I think that they are underestimating their viewers. We're gonna feel this big time.
I also think it could also just be casting, right? Like, hey, we've got all these girls that look almost exactly the same, so Robb's never seen a girl that looks that exotic and different, and that's why, like, I think there's something different about her, right? It's the same reason that Joffrey's attracted to Marjorie, because she's different. Like, there's a difference, and it's both of them are rebelling against their mothers. Both their mothers don't like the girls they're interested in. Both their mothers know that there's something wrong. You're seeing both of the side. Like, I feel like I agree that there's no reason to recast her, but the way they're doing it, I think they're trying to do it so we kind of see it from a different angle.
Well, I guess I'm just gonna abstain from commenting, and we'll just see how it plays out.
One thing that I'm kind of frustrated with is, so if you take her out of it, and all the things that lead up to the Red Wedding are essentially Robb's fault. Like, Robb screws up, and so all the characters in the books have flaws, and that's like his major flaw that he did not think that was going to come back and bite him in the ass, and it does big time.
Which it should. He should know, right?
But so I would guess that if you have this other character, that also kind of alleviates the problem of, well, maybe it's not his fault. Maybe like there were people doing things. Someone set him up to marry her. So like, yeah, it was his fault that he married her, but maybe somebody set that up. But I can't believe that twice Bolton has walked in on him making out with her. Yeah. It just, I don't know, that really takes a hit to his character for me. That he's so blatantly, like, every time we see him, he's just being like either confused or making stupid decisions.
That
just kind of drops.
But he was never, but the thing is, we don't know how he was in the book. We've no idea, because we never had his point of view.
No, I just
really
disagree.
Kind of
I
a
feel
lucky,
like
dumb boy that when he listened to his When he listened to
I
his
disagree with
bannermen, he
this.
did better.
That's
And
true.
as soon as he turned on them, it all started going wrong
As soon
for
as
him.
yeah, it's true. As soon as he
When he
stopped, as soon as he stopped listening, that's when things started to go bad. But he was I feel like he made a lot of good, strong, smart decisions. He learned a lot from his father.
Yeah, like you don't
and there's
hear
a
from him
reason.
until-
There's a reason why the Bannermen come to him and they say, "Okay, we'll follow you." It's not just because he's Ned Stark's son. He's also a good leader, and we're not quite getting that from
He's
the
got
show.
bravado. I don't know if he's a good leader.
My perspective from the book was that he was a good leader, and then when he met Jane, it kind of all went out the window. Where he was like, "Well, now I'm really in love,
But
and
isn't
now
that
my
isn't that
now
most
my
14-year-old
Well,
boys?
I mean, you compare him against the other leaders in the show. Like Theon's obviously a terrible leader. Joffrey's a terrible leader.
They're all
like,
very
But
young.
Robb was, raised by Eddard. Like he learned a lot of very important lessons. And like I think, and like you don't see him in book 2, but all you hear about is him just kicking ass over and over
But
and over
because
again.
he's listening to his bannermen.
Right.
And he's listening, and the reason they agree with him in the very beginning is when he takes, Grey Wind, and he shows that, listen, like, I may not have the knowledge, but I have my father's command. Like, I am your king, and you're going to listen to me. Yeah. And that's what originally gets them to listen. And they start, there's the War Council. Now the War Council's gone, right? Like, he split everyone up. He's split up his army. These guys are here. These guys are here.
He's alienated people.
He's alienated people. They're not all together. And now he's open for,
Someone's going
puppetry.
to throw
Someone's
him over.
messing with him.
Yeah, someone's messing with him.
And just like anything in the book and the series, there's probably more than one person.
Yeah,
pulling his
absolutely.
strings.
Absolutely, there is.
And you just have, it's a problem where he is ultimately going to pay for it, and so will Lady Stark. And that's what I felt like that with her just shows kind of how cold and kind of just almost black and white she sees things, and that how her anguish is really the thing that pushes her forward. Yeah. And at the end of season 4, episode 10, when her big reveal happens, you're going to be like, oh my God, it totally paid off. But I won't spoil that yet.
Yeah. That's kind of you.
Yeah.
So what else? We gotta wrap this up.
I think that's really it for big spoilers. I mean, I think
Oh, well,
the Queen of Thorns for me, like I love that foreshadowing where,
Oh, I've got some spoiler foreshadowing.
Sure.
Can we talk about the crossbow, or is that too much? I guess we already talked about the red. Yeah, if we already talked about
it fires.
Look how easy it is. I can use it with my
Clearly,
small arm.
Yeah, you don't have to have any strength at all. You can be a very small person and use this, perhaps even against someone in your own family. Yeah, that's can I say? Should I say?
Oh, I have another one. I have another.
I
big
mean,
spoiler
go
too,
for it. I
past
mean,
this.
that's season 4, right?
Well, I don't know. It could be this season, but I can't tell you guys. You're going to be too mad at me.
It's
even
spoilers.
If it's spoiler
Those are
time.
spoilers for people who've read the
Okay,
books.
so this is the crossbow that Tyrion uses to kill his father. That's what's going to happen there. And make no mistake, that's why we got close-ups on a crossbow. That's the only reason. You have a gun in a scene, the gun has to be fired. That's what's going on there. And
Well, it's a
good.
nice play, right?
Shoots from the hip.
But also, like, it's a bow that was made for Joffrey. Tyrion gets in trouble for, oh God, there's spoilers.
So many
Spoiler
spoilers.
bomb.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Like, whatever happens at Joffrey's wedding, no
Right.
one knows who's in trouble. Like, Tyrion takes the fall for that. He gets blamed for it by his father. He's
Right.
going to use that. It's like,
And I thought it was very interesting that the bolt from the crossbow went through the boar's head, and I would bet you that boar head is the boar that killed Baratheon. So it's a whole king on king crossbow slaying action.
So
Nice
here's,
foreshadowing.
so here's my spoiler question that I'm convinced that Amanda's still on the fence about.
What?
But and I just want, because again, you're talking about characters' intents and seeing decisions that they're making and being like, wait, that's a spy. Wait, she's writing a letter. Tyrion's girlfriend, his name
Shay,
is already sleeping with Tywin, right?
I don't think so.
now.
I don't
Because
think so.
he comes in and is like, wait, what are you doing here? I told you like a billion times you're gonna get
It's too
You're gonna get
dangerous.
arrested. My dad is gonna kick your ass if he catches you. And she's like, I'm not worried about him. It's like, well, because you're obviously sleeping with him.
I don't think it's quite yet. I don't think it's
I've never
quite
really
yet.
understood that
And I just think it's rich
between
in the scene in this first
Oh,
episode.
you don't understand it? I understand it very
the
clearly.
Shay and like I mean other than the money, but like
No, Tyrion is in love with her. He's been looking
oh no, I understand
to
that
replace-
relationship. I'm saying the Tywin Shay Tyrion
Tywin's
triangle.
he's doing
Because
his birthday all
Right.
over again.
Right.
You know, it's like how what's the worst thing I can do to this kid?
You always condemn people for your own faults. So that's why he comes down on Tyrion so hard. He's like, no whores, because I love whores.
Yes, I agree with that. I just don't see Tywin sharing a bed with someone that his son that he despises and thinks a freak show. Which, like that's always been the weird.
I think his
like,
cleanliness is about here, and his desire to do something
to
mean
fuck
to
his son
Tyrion
over.
is
Yeah,
like
okay,
right
fair
up
enough.
there.
Like I guess your anger overrides that, but that's always been one of the weird things because he's so disgusted by
Yeah.
Tyrion. I'm like, I don't know if I'd really want to
Yeah.
take,
Sloppy seconds.
sloppy seconds to that. It just seems sloppy shays to that, if you will. Oh.
I had a couple other things. There was in the Brienne scene when they have the guy that comes up the road and he sees them and he's like, oh, you should kill that guy. Jamie says, oh, you should go kill that guy. And she goes, no, I'm not going to go there. What we learn in book 5 is that she has never killed a person to that point. She kills her first person in book 5.
Right.
So so she's not going to go kill
But also
a
she's
peasant.
not. But it's also she wouldn't kill him anyways. It's
She
just
wouldn't
in her
kill him
honor.
anyways,
She wants to be a
but-
knight. A knight would never just kill someone.
A knight would never just kill someone, but on top of that, she's never killed
Right.
up to this point. So she's not going to start with a peasant who's just on his way. Like that's the worst first person for her to kill ever.
At the end of season 2.
Yeah. See, that's the thing.
Who'd she kill at the end of season 2?
She's like, she kills the 3
Oh yeah, she kills the Stark men.
Yeah. She kills a bunch of people in the book.
And-
That's
Oh,
why-
in the show she does.
Yeah, that's why it's like it doesn't.
In the show she does. Well,
Yeah.
but that's something I was thinking about.
Um,
And then
no, we gotta wrap this up. We're
Yeah.
getting heavy.
and then we wanted to talk about Vargo Hoat, the goat.
Yeah, he's not in the series.
Well, we don't know for
He's
sure.
not.
Are you sure?
Yeah, they pretty much said.
I'm not
you're,
sure.
You're just disagreeing with me.
I just want him to
You
be
just
in
want to
this.
disagree with me.
I
That's
think
not
it
Vargo
was
Hope
so
that catches
great.
him. It's a new character named Locke.
Yeah, that character. Why did they?
Because I think they just don't want to bring in another series.
Why couldn't they
of,
just
like,
call the new character Vargo Hoat?
I think it's the same reason they're doing things because it's just like why introduce? It just needs to be a bannerman for
What?
someone to simplify it.
Ugh.
It's a lot of simplification.
Yeah.
2 things for people at home. I think as we're wrapping it up. If you've read the books, you've watched the series. 2 things I should tell you to pick up. There's the short stories that take place about 80 years before the current books. You could look them up online, but it's Warriors 1, Legends, and Dragon, Sword, and King. 3 great books. They're anthologies, but George R. R. Martin has books in each. And this is Sir Duncan the Tall's story.
Or chapters in each.
Chapter. Well, yeah, they're pretty big. It's like a fifth of each of them. So, and he's also working on some more of these right now.
He's working on those, and he's not working on our books.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if you haven't read if you're
George.
like, why isn't book 6 out? But you haven't read these, this is good. And the Lands of Ice and Fire, the map book, is one of the coolest things. It came out a couple of months ago, but there's a ton of maps in there. They're huge. They follow the series, the book series, and there's maps of King's Landing, maps of the North, maps just showing you where everyone walks. It's totally awesome. So if you are getting confused about the series and you're like, I want to know where everything is, that's a cool thing to pick up.
So when Littlefinger teleports in season 2.
Right, yeah, when the teleportation happens.
Where it's like 1/10
We're
and he's
trying
like,
not
all
to
right, I gotta
spoil-
go. I'm like,
Oh, you
Well,
just-
when you find out he's a warlock, I mean, that's
And
the
I'm
thing
like,
that
yeah.
really messes with people.
And like 2 scenes later, he's like, I'm in the north now. Anyway, what were we talking about, Cat? I'm like,
How did you do that? Oh, he has a very fast boat.
That's a secret.
He takes a
about
bit-
his spies. I want to know what boat he has.
And more
Look
lemon
at the boat.
cakes. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
you want to, we'll wrap this up?
Yes.
This might have gone a little longer than we intended. We'll get better at whittling our ideas down. But thank you so much for checking in with us for another week. You might not be with us next week, but
Who knows?
we have Marco and Ryan probably will be back.
And let us know what you
four-person
think.
panel.
And for the people, I know there's been a question on why we're doing this.
Yeah.
If I could answer that, because this happens no matter what. For the past 2 years, on my Monday morning calendar, my official work calendar, there's an hour blocked out to talk about Game of Thrones with a bunch of people, because if we don't get it out of our system then, it just trickles throughout the whole week.
So
we're just filming it for you guys.
So Invisible Walls is something we have to plan and schedule and all meet for and do, and we're just gonna do this anyway. So it's something that we can do. Piece of cake. And thank you so much for
Lemon
joining
cake.
us. If you actually watched this entire thing, we very much appreciate it. We had a lot of fun talking about it. Hope you had fun watching. And go watch the episode one more time. See you next week.
Bye.
That was like 40.